Now the top headlines from the startup world. Lenskart has acquired Tango Eye, an AI-based computer vision startup. With this acquisition, Lenskart plans to use visual artificial intelligence technology in improving store experience as well as its product experience.
Cloud kitchen operator Cure Foods has acquired food tech startup Yum Lane for an undisclosed sum. The acquisition will enable Yum Lane to leverage Cure Foods' reach to augment its proprietary pizza technology.
SpaceX startup Skyroot Aerospace has raised $27.5 million in a pre-Series C funding round led by Temasek. This brings Skyroot's funding corpus to $95 million, which it claims to be the largest for an Indian space tech startup.
SGBS Unnati Foundation, a not-for-profit organization, is set to be the first entity in the country to list on a social stock exchange. Through its listing, Unnati Foundation seeks to raise 2 crore rupees, which will directly impact the lives of 10,000 young individuals in their final year at government colleges.
Apple's India business revenue touches 50,000 crore rupees in FY23. Net profit soared 76%. This is the fastest growth in the net profit for the company in the last 5 years.
Rs25's revenues increased to 5,535 crore rupees in FY23 from 5,136 crores the year before, a 7.8% year-on-year growth. The used car unicorn also saw its losses widen from 248 crores in FY22 to 468 crores in FY23.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai to testify today in the antitrust fight with the US government over Google's dominance of search and some parts of search advertising. Pichai will likely be asked about the company's investments aimed at keeping its online search engine dominant.
Well, those were the headlines we've been tracking for you this evening. Tomorrow, House of Brands and Aditya Birla Venture has invested 155 crore rupees in digital-first fashion brand, the Indian Garage Co. Now, with this, Tomorrow expands its portfolio in the casual wear space. The Indian Garage Co. has a strong menswear segment and it recently expanded into women's wear and plus-size segments with Freehand and Hard Soda brands, respectively. To talk to us about this partnership, joining me now is Prashant Aluru, the co-founder and CEO of Tomorrow, and Anand Tante, the founder of the Indian Garage Co. Gentlemen, welcome to Startup Street. And let me start with you, Prashant. What made you bet big on the Indian Garage Co? What synergies do you see with the brand? And it does expand your portfolio in the casual wear space, but tell us the kind of impact you see them making in the space and for your brand.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Shruti, for having us on your show. I think first and foremost, Tomorrow, as you know, our goal is to build a $1 billion plus house of brands venture, focusing purely on fashion and lifestyle space. And we're today excited to welcome Anand to the Tomorrow fraternity and also benefit from the larger ABG and Aditya Birla fashion ecosystem. One of the reasons we bet big on the TIGC brand is essentially, one, the leadership position that Anand has built across multiple marketplaces. So I think for a brand which is known for fashionable, trendy products at an affordable price point, he's built a 300 crore brand, pretty much bootstrapping his way all the way to this stage, which I think is commendable. The second, of course, is, as you know, our model is a founder-led model. So we partner with founders like Anand, who've not only demonstrated, phenomenal execution capabilities, but also have the ambition to build a larger lifestyle brand, memorable brands that consumers love. And with this brand in particular, we think the opportunity is not just in Metro Tier 1, but also to expand beyond across India into Tier 2, Tier 3 cities.
All right.
The third, of course, is, in some ways, if you think about where Anand and TIGC are today, I think we think with a lot of the horizontal investments and capabilities that we are investing as Tomorrow, I think we can partner together to build a lifestyle brand that owns the space, already has leadership, but can get to the 1,500 crore plus zone in the next 5 years.
Yes, we'll delve.
That's the reason we bet big. And with this, we have 8 brands across different categories in fashion lifestyle, solving uniquely for different new age consumers with different new age brands that eventually will be even larger than we're there today.
Okay, we'll delve deeper into what you just said, but let me quickly go across to Anand. Anand, TIGC has seen 6x growth in the last 3 years, and like Prashant mentioned, you've clocked 300 crores in revenue in FY23. Partnering with Tomorrow, how do you see this helping you grow your brand in terms of reach and increasing your margins?
Thank you for having me on the show, Shruti. I think Aditya Birla has phenomenal capabilities of building brand, and I think as a group, one of the most respected business houses of India. I think with this tie-up, we'll have larger access to technology, larger access to capital, and also a lot of experience of brand building. What we've done so far in the journey of Indian Garage, I think it was only led by fast fashion, but I think further on we will look to have a more brandification journey towards fashion as well.
Okay. All right. Prashant, coming back to you, tell us what is unique about TIGC's offering, and you tell us how bullish are you on that target. You just mentioned 1,500 crore rupees in the next 5 years. Where do you see the next leg of growth coming from?
Well, first and foremost, we are super bullish. I think I'll be pleasantly surprised if Anand beats us both, either in terms of scale or the time frame to get there. So I think quite confident about the target in itself. I think the more important part is what we saw unique about TIGC is a founder who's sort of blended well with understanding the demand side with a very strong supply chain capability. I think one who understands fashion from the product grounds up to what's needed to really be ahead of the curve and trend, but equally build supply chain that can gear up to that. I think that's one of the unique things we saw in Anand. The second, of course, is to build a large brand like this, which is bootstrapped, is very hard. But I think now with this investment and partnership, we think we not only have the war chest to get to the next level, but also all the capabilities that are needed to get to the next level. For example, Anand called out technology and data science is one of the areas. We think, for a brand which has built its leadership position on marketplaces, today the opportunity is ripe to build a D2C storefront, go deeper into consumer understanding, leverage tech and data science in scaling the brand further. That's one capability we bring to the brand. Of course, as the brand scales, we also think multiple channel capabilities are needed to build the right footprint for the new age consumer across D2C, marketplaces, and offline.
Sure.
And as we sort of expand into multiple channels, we think all of those capabilities we can bring. And those are the synergies we see beyond the investment itself.
All right, quickly, let me go across to Anand. One final question before we let you go. You've built an end-to-end design and manufacturing value chain at TIGC with the fresh funds raised. How do you plan to strengthen that? If you could take us through your expansion plans, any new offerings in the pipeline, and also, like I mentioned earlier, that you've launched into women's category, you've launched into the plus sizes category. Any new categories that you're eyeing?
So we are as a brand, we have the name Indian, and we are a big believer of the Indian growth story. So the next step is, to go global. That is one of the, new offerings that we have. We are looking to expand our reach beyond India, to venture to Middle East, and to venture to all Southeast Asian countries. With respect to categories, yes, we are looking to foray in kidswear. We are looking to launch Junior's Garage as a fresh and fast fashion brand in kidswear. Freehand will definitely fill in the space for women's western wear, which is predominantly, if you see today, not many brands operating in that space currently, and very, very unorganized. Also, if you see, plus size in India is a very big gap. The availability of plus size, the offering in plus size fashion is very, very skewed. So we've seen very good numbers with our plus size fashion. We are also seeing very, very good demand in women's western wear. Indian Garage as a fast fashion brand will continue to grow. We will also look at expanding our own D2C further to cater more and more consumers.
Okay. All right. So, Anand, you've covered it all. Men's, women, plus sizes, and now you're eyeing the kids category as well. We've completely run out of time, but Prashant and Anand, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today, and we wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Shruti, thanks very much for taking us through that conversation. From the kids' wear, let's take the conversation to a more adult section. Homegrown beer brand Proost Beer has raised 25 crore rupees in a pre-Series A funding round via a mix of debt and equity led by its existing and new investors. The company said that the fresh infusion of funds is going to play a pivotal role in its strategic expansion plans. Established in 2017, it targets to capture about 5% or more of the rapidly expanding Indian beer market by the end of this decade. Joining me now to talk about the company's plans ahead is its co-founder and CEO, Tarun Bhargav. Tarun, thanks very much for your time here on CNBC-TV18. How much of this 25 crore is debt? How much is equity? And how long of a runway does this give Proost Beer?
So thank you, Ritu, for having me. Thanks for having us on the show. Firstly, most of the amount that we've raised is equity. About 18 to 19 crores comes from equity, and only about 5 to 6 crores comes into debt. And the idea is to utilize the funds for expansion and enter new markets. We are currently present across Delhi, Punjab, Kerala, and Uttar Pradesh, and we are looking to enter the markets of Karnataka, Goa, and Pondicherry in the next 12 months.
Okay, could you tell us a bit more about whether you're looking to expand only into these geographies, or are you also going to ramp up your production capacity? Where is it currently at?
So we're currently at about 18 lakhs per annum of production capacity, and we look forward to doubling our production
Okay.
capacity in the next 12 months. That's the idea. Uh, the whole idea is that we want to go
Okay.
deeper into our existing markets and also expand our footprints to new markets. And that is where Karnataka and Goa and Pondicherry comes into picture. Yeah.
Could you give us a sense, because you're a relatively younger company, how many units are you currently selling on a monthly basis, and what is your plan to expand this as you enter new geographies, ramp up your production?
So we're currently at about 60,000 cases on a monthly sale. We're growing at a 2.5x
Okay.
each year in terms of revenue. We're currently producing out of 3 manufacturing facilities, one in Punjab, another one in Uttar Pradesh, and a third one is upcoming in Telangana. The idea is to cater to the North Indian markets by the two breweries
Okay.
in the North, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab. And Telangana will help us go deeper and penetrate into a larger audience in the southern market, which is Karnataka, Kerala, Goa, Pondicherry.
Okay, and any plans to diversify beyond that? Are you also looking at an overseas presence outside of India?
Oh, definitely. I mean, in all honesty, we were a firm believers in the Indian consumption story, and we believe that in the next decade or two, there will be global brands that will be coming out of India, and Proost aspires to be a global brand in the long run. However, for the short run, I mean, for the next 5-6 years, our focus remains on the Indian beer market, and post that, we will definitely be looking to go overseas.
And what kind of revenues and profits are you already clocking so far?
We're currently on a monthly revenue run rate of about 2.5 crores. We closed our last year revenues at about 22 crores.
Okay.
FY23, FY24 we are targeting a 2.5x growth. We
Okay.
should be seeing a 50 plus crore revenue this year. We are still burning. We are still not profitable, but we should be a bit profitable in the next 12 months, and PAT profitability should be achieved in the subsequent 12 months. So we are on a clear path to profitability.
Well, Tarun, it's not an easy market to operate in. There are a handful of players that really dominate the Indian beer market. For a young company like you, how do you get brand building, distribution right to capture that 5% share that you're targeting? And it's not a very large share you're talking about. You're only talking about a 5% share.
So, see, as you rightly said, there are only a handful players currently present in the market, and that is why it becomes even more imperative to say that the consumer are looking for more options. And to be honest, it's not a winner takes all market. I mean, beer consumption in India, it's largely preference driven and not loyalty driven. Consumers have top 3 or 4 preferences they keep on switching between at the retail vents depending on the availability of the product. So we believe there's enough headroom for a brand like us to grow over a course of the next decade or so. And 5% of this market share converts to about $1 billion in revenue, about 7,000 crores in revenue. So I think for a young brand like us, that's quite aspirational. And even if we're able to reach that stage of about $1 billion in revenue by end of this decade, we're happy with that. Obviously, we aspire to achieve higher, but yeah, that's the current target.
Well, setting more realistic targets. But Tarun, before we let you go, I was reading you started Proost Beers to bring European quality beer at affordable prices in India. But is the longer term play to remain in this mass market, or will you look at more premium beers? Are you going to look at cafes, distilleries? What's the long term plan?
So premiumization is a growing trend. There's no denying that that the Indian consumer market is slowly and steadily moving towards premiumization. However, in the beer category, we still believe that outside of the metropolitan cities, people are still earning for quality product at affordable pricing. So our main focus will remain on the strong beer, the mass premium affordable beer category. However, we are in the process of launching new products, even in the premium categories. We work on leased facilities. We don't invest into capex as of today. But the long-term vision is to have our own manufacturing facilities and our own breweries as well.
Tarun, pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for your time here on CNBC TV18.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Ritu. Thanks.
All right, with that, it's time for us to head into a short break. But up next, Unnati Foundation, a not-for-profit organization, is set to be the first entity in the country to list on a social stock exchange. How is this beneficial and what does this mean for the organization? We find out on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Bengaluru-based Unnati Foundation, a not-for-profit organization that provides students from underprivileged backgrounds with vocational training and social transformation training, will become India's first NGO to be listed on the NSE and BSE social stock exchange. So what does this mean for the organization? We're now joined by Ramesh Swami, the director of SGBS Unnati Foundation. Ramesh, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Now, before I get into the listing on the social stock exchange, talk to me about what it is that you exactly do. What's your mission?
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you for having us here today. Unnati is about employability. We strive hard. We have two programs. One is a center model, where we train youth in 35 days, give them a job at the end of 35 days, and ask them to go. This is one model we run in our own centers. We have around 40 centers across the country. Another model where we are scaling, and we are talking about that program in the SSC also, Social Stock Exchange, is called UNext, where we go to the government colleges, run a finishing school model of 90 hours of in-house, 3 hours a day into 30 days training in English, life skills, values, and interview skills, etc. Give them a job when they graduate, and that's how you change all of them, and largely in the rural areas.
Right.
This year alone, in the financial year this year, we are looking at a lack of youth across 10 states in the country.
You're looking at impacting 1 lakh youth across various states. Now, before I delve into your model a little bit more, your organization will become the first NGO to be listed on the NSE and BSE Social Stock Exchange. So talk to us about what this entails. What's the kind of impact you hope to create with this listing?
Okay, so it's very important. Let me put in perspective two things. One, there are two verticals on which an NGO survives. One, on the governance model. Two is about impact, social impact, what you create. When you go into a social stock exchange kind of a listing, it means that you are under scrutiny on both accounts. It's not just about governance, but it is also about the social impact you're able to create, you're able to measure, and quantitatively and qualitatively, and you're putting your neck on the block saying that, yes, we believe in this and we will deliver this. So it's a very important aspect as far as the NGO is concerned. And what we intend doing is not just about Unnati, but on the whole, as an NGO sector, there's always a kind of disbelief or, exaggerated situations, or people have their own doubts for various reasons. Right or wrong is different, but there is this kind of issues. We are trying to say that through SSC, where you are, and in India, it's the first of its kind, where we actually, it's the first of its kind where we actually are talking about the NSE and the BSE, both the commercial stock exchanges, and you are, as an NGO, going through the entire details of their vetting process, the submissions, every aspect which a commercial organization will go through. So it's a very powerful medium.
Absolutely.
And this medium should become very big in the years to come, which will help a lot of NGOs who believe in these kind of transparency and accountability to make a difference.
Yeah. So essentially, let me just sort of give you an idea about what Unnati Foundation does. It's a not-for-profit organization and is one of the first NGOs which will be listed on the NSE and BSE Social Stock Exchange. What this entails essentially is that you get better access to investors. There's more money that you can raise via this, and also it will help create more transparency, which allows even the investors to have more faith in the company that they're putting funds into. And Unnati Foundation essentially helps students in rural India, especially who are towards their 12th grade, be able to learn certain skills, vocational skills, that are going to help them educate themselves further and get employed. Now, this exchange, Ramesh, gives you better access to investors to raise funds. So how much are you looking to raise? What are the benefits that the Social Stock Exchange offers organizations like yours? Transparency was obviously one. So talk to us about how much money you hope to raise and what it helps with investors on that front.
Yeah, in this particular issue of ZCZP, we are hoping to raise 2 crores of rupees. It's a 1 rupee ZCZP instrument, and we are hoping to raise around 2 crores.
Right, so you're hoping to raise about 2 crores. Also, if you can tell us, how do you sustain yourself? Are you mostly grant-based? Talk to us about the various partnerships that you have as well.
So we are largely grant-based, actually totally grant-based, very few individual donors, but the program UNext is supported immensely by people like Infosys Foundation, Boeing, GE, then you have ExxonMobil and companies like MUFG who support us in a big way. That is how it works.
All right. And finally, before we end, if you could quickly tell us, you told us a little bit about your UNext program. Just talk to us about how does one access the program? What's the process like?
So what we have done is we have been able to successfully go to 10 states, go to the government departments in these 10 states and sign MOUs to ensure that we are opening the doors in the government college. They open the doors in the government colleges for the final years. We recruit people from the local area.
All right, Ramesh. On that note, we're completely out of time, but thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we wish you all the best on this mission that you're on.
All right, on that note, we're all up on the time for this edition of Startup Street. Thanks very much for watching. Stay with CNBC TV 18. All the news and updates will come up on the other side.